It's Wednesday, June 6th, and I'm in downtown Vegas right now, just wrapping up some dinner. I'm about to head over to the Westgate for a 7 o'clock meetup game with Andrew Neeme. It's funny, I've known Andrew for the better part of 10 years now. We were both grinding 10 years ago in Vegas, coming up through the ranks together. And more recently, when he's been doing his vlogs, it definitely was an inspiration for me. My creative outlet prior to vlogging was making mashups and producing music. So this has definitely shifted because I actually haven't made a mix since I started vlogging. So this has been my new creative outlet. A couple nights ago, I actually went out to eat with Andrew and Jamin and Christy. Christy obviously is one of the original gangsters when it comes to poker content. She's been doing it for 10 years. And we just chopped it up about life. I really like Andrew. I'm glad that we have become friends. So I'm super excited to support his meetup game. I haven't done any vlogging for the first part of this Vegas trip. As you guys know, I'm a poker player first and a content creator second. I'm really good about separating, focusing on poker and grinding and then pulling the vlog back in. So it's time for the vlog now. Let's head to the Westgate, let's get in this game and let's have some fun. Let's navigate to the Westgate so we can have some fun and play some poker and win some money. That work? Something else really interesting happened today. I got a message from a 15-year-old on Instagram. I talked about it a little bit on my Instagram. I actually uploaded it to Twitter as well, telling me that I was an inspiration to him, which I think is awesome. But at the same time, to have a 15-year-old watching my content on gambling, it's kind of weird. I don't know. I thought a lot about it, and I remember my first experience with gambling was I was in 6th grade and I was playing basketball, and there was a 9th grader that challenged me to one-on-one. And I thought I could beat him, and he said, "You want to bet?" And I was like, sure, I guess. Had no experience with what betting was. And he ended up saying, okay, let's bet your Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on Nintendo for some other video game. I don't remember what it was. And I ended up beating him, but he bullied me into, you gotta win by 2. And then he ended up winning. And I remember it traumatized me, it crushed me. I basically never gambled again until I was 27 years old. And my brother convinced me that poker wasn't gambling, it was more skill than it was luck. It is Thursday morning, walking through the Westgate right now. Last night got crazy. We went back to the bar right behind me over there. And I was there till like after 5 in the morning, till the last person left. Andrew and I and Brad closed it down, saying what's up to all the homies, everyone that came out for the game. It was so much fun, I had so much fun, but it did not go my way. I played probably 50% of the hands, so I definitely had a bad pre-flop strategy, but I played pretty well post-flop and I got in some really crazy spots. I did not take notes, but I pulled the camera out on several occasions and filmed what was going on, so I'm gonna do my best to narrate. Okay, so we're into the game for $1,000 and I've decided that I'm gonna mix it up. So when the early position player makes it $20 and the middle position player makes it 50, and I look down at ace queen offsuit, I decided to put in the 4-bet here, and everyone folds back to the 3-better and he makes the call. So when the flop comes king, king, queen with 2 hearts, this is definitely a board that I can check back. And if I do decide to bet, the sizing should be definitely on the small side because his range is very narrowly defined because of our 4-bet preflop. So I think that a small sizing is in order here to get value from hands that I do beat and possibly get him to spaz out. So when I continue for $75 after making $145 pre-flop, he ends up just folding and we take down the first pot of the day. In this next hand, I open it up with ace-5 suited under the gun, and I get one caller on the button where heads up, and the flop comes ace-3-5 rainbow with 1 spade. I c-bet, button calls, turn is the deuce of spades, so not only do I have 2 pair now, I also have a flush draw. And not only do I have a flush draw, I actually have a straight flush draw. So I keep betting on the turn, even though there is a 4-card straight on the board, and he makes the call. Then on the 10 of diamonds river, I don't see any reason to not bet anymore. I think that he's going to have ace, queen, ace, jack type holdings all day here. And given that I have a Maniac image, this is the same guy that I 4-bet earlier, I think that he's actually going to call me with those hands. So I put out $225 on the river. See, this is good. You're thinking about it. Good. This guy's in the tank right here.
Oh man. You know what he's doing?
He's like, I don't know if he's got it.
It's getting in their head.
He's thinking about it.
This is
the problem is he's like, I just really don't know if ace queen's good here on this board. I'd be in a tough spot if I was in his shoes.
I would love it if you just give up. That's the call. Johnny value.
In this next hand, I open it up in early position with queen 10 suited, and I get 4 callers, so we go 5 ways to a flop. Flop is queen 9-6 with 1 heart and 2 spades, and I continuation bet for $70, and I get 1 caller in position. And when the turn comes the 3 of hearts, I just decide with 2 spades, 2 hearts, all the straight draws out there, that I can overbet ship on this turn card and still get value and still have my villain call off with the worst hand. Yep, that's what I got. That's the board. And that's my opponent.
This is reverse psychology at its finest.
There's a lot of draws on that board, so I'm just going to move it all in. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You're not going to have it on the river.
He's got Jack 10 of hearts.
No, I have a queen.
You got 7-8. No, I thought you had Jack 10 of hearts. Oh.
See?
Double gun.
In this next hand, I look down at king queen off suit, and I go ahead and raise it up to my standard $20. Folds to the button who has not been active, and he decides to 3-bet me. He only has around $500. I'm definitely playing aggressively here, but I think that he can be bluffing a fair amount of the time here too. So I'm just going to jam it all in and protect my equity and see what happens. Unfortunately, he snap calls it off with the ace-5. Board runs out as such, and we don't improve. So ship over $500 to the guy on the button.
You're going to be on the vlog.
But we're not going to be doing any folding, so I wanted to get this on document. This next hand, I am actually in a tough spot here with top pair, top kicker. I get check raised on the turn, and the guy has a little bit less than $600, so I decide that because I have top pair, top kicker, and with how I've been playing, everyone thinks that I'm bluffing all the time. Having top pair, top kicker, I think I just need to strap on the seatbelt and call down. So when the river bricks off, he moves all in, and I obviously quickly snap call the remaining chips that he has. We get shown the bad news. We get shown pocket eights. He had a set on the flop, so top pair, top kicker, no good. This is what rebuying looks like. So we're stuck heaps at this point, and a hand comes up where under the gun makes it 20, and he gets 4 callers, and we are on the button with pocket kings. This is so glorious because nobody's ever going to believe that we actually have a hand. So I go ahead and 3-bet it to $130. The big blind tanks for a long time and ends up making the call, and everyone else folds. So we are heads up to a flop. The flop comes ace-8-5. Not exactly the flop I was looking for because I think that the big blind player is definitely going to have some ace-king and ace-queens in his hand, possibly even ace-jacks, thinking that I'm just crazy out of line. So I go ahead and check it back. When the turn comes to 6 of spades and he leads into me, Obviously, I can't fold pocket kings for one bet here. The river's a 10 of hearts, and it's a fairly safe board for kings if he checks it. But the problem is that he bets a really small sizing. He bets $200 on the river. So rather than burn the $200, I just don't think that this is ever going to be a bluff here. And nobody's really ever going to be value betting worse than an ace. So I just let it go, and somehow, some way, he has pocket queens and we get bluffed off of this pot, and this one definitely hurts, but just gotta shake it off and move on.
I almost feel like I have to call. Almost.
He's got the camera on you now.
Yeah, I know. I just want to see what my 300 looks like before I gave it away. Helping you get back to even.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for contributing to my lifestyle.
It's all you.
You know, like putting this money in right here.
Yeah,
This is like the ulti fucking angle.
Yeah.
Just like helping, you know.
Yeah.
I
want to fund.
buy my dog food, you know. Because we got this.
Oh, you could have anything under there. It could be free. I don't know. I guess you wouldn't have put 40 out there with like queen 10. I fold.
Yeah. I mean,
Bluff, right?
it is a tough spot. You know?
Oh, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Nice hit. Four players.
Check. Let's just make an outlandish raise here and make it 300.
Raise to 300.
Fold, 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 fold. Yes, I have 8 high. I have 8 high. You don't think I have 8 high, do you?
Put money on it.
I have all my chips in the middle. Every time I pull the camera out, I've been bluffing. I've had 6 of these. And he has this many chips.
You're grilling me right now. Just giving it to me.
He's thinking about it. He's close. He's got $575. He's like, do I want to risk $575 on this board? And I still have this guy left to act.
Do you really have 8-9 of hearts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have 8-9 of hearts.
Can we get a clock on this guy?
I'm on it. I'm on it. I got it. I got it.
All of my chips. All of my chips are in the middle. He's making me sweat.
Oh! Everybody. Said what she said. I believe you have 8 hearts. And Pura heads up. I should make that call.
You have 8-9 of hearts?
Oh, you called?
Yeah.
I have a queen.
Oh, you're good.
I have a flush now. Oh.
Oh, wow. You convinced me to call, man. I thought King High was actually good, man.
I had
really
top
did
pair.
when you said that.
And I had this guy.
Sometimes you
But he
get
called
there.
it off with King High. And then he spiked it on the river.
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow.
Oh, wow. Hey, what's up, guys? We are going to the Vegas Knights game today, and this guy right here, Kai,
Yep, that's
from Temecula. He's taking me in an Uber because just definitely didn't want to fight with traffic. Anyways, he just asked me a couple questions. He asked me what my biggest hand that I ever played was. I figured I would tell everyone. I was playing 10 1/4 at Ocean's 11. This was probably 4 years ago. And there was a guy from Dubai that was in the game, and he was just like playing crazy. And I got in a spot where I had pocket jacks in a 4-bet pot, and the board was 9 high on the turn, and he was overbetting every street, and I just didn't know what to do. But I was like, this guy's from Dubai, so I feel like I just have to go with it. So I shoved it all in with the jacks. Guy from Dubai looks at the board, looks at me and says, all right, I call 1 time. So the river comes out, I don't even remember what the river was, and I show the pocket jacks and I'm like, is this good? And he was like, nice hand, nice hand. So we scooped like a $17,000 pot.
Dang.
So that was definitely one of the highlights of my poker career. But anyways, thanks Kai.
Yeah.
Welcome to YouTube.
Yeah.
And go Knights go. Before I show you footage of the Vegas Knights last game of the series that they ended up unfortunately losing, I just wanted to say a couple things about the Vegas Knights. I grew up watching hockey in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We didn't have a professional team, but we had a minor league team, and I loved it. I've always loved hockey, but I never really attached myself to a professional team. And after the tragedy that happened this year, when 58 people were killed in a massacre in Vegas, the opening game of the Vegas Knights season was directly after that. It was just an absolutely unbelievable tribute to the victims and the way that the team rallied around the city and the way the city rallied around the team. I was just absolutely hooked, you know, being a Vegas resident for 5 years. The way that everything transpired, I just could not help but fall in love with the team. So seeing them lose was absolutely heartbreaking. Christy put together a nice little tribute video. I wanted to use it in my video, just a clip of it, and say thank you to the Vegas Knights for doing everything that you guys could to help the city heal. The city appreciates it, the world appreciates it, and I appreciate it.
But the question that I think is so important is, well, was the journey worth it? Was it worth it even though they didn't win? And if you ask any Vegas Knights fan or any of the players on that team, they would say absolutely. Of course it was. And if you asked, would you do it again? The answer would be yes.
What's up guys? Ryan Feldman here. We got Live at the Bike. He's actually in the game, so we're going to be doing the commentary today. Watch it right now, Live at the Bike, YouTube and Twitch. It's all in, and Feldman makes the snap call. And Armenian tries to take his rack back.
He's saying that he doesn't put his chips in?
Now he's saying that he's joking.